Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the R&D mode where I'm showing off the first ever proper build I built for the Better Future Corporation, which makes it sound like I'm employed by them. Secretly, I'm a spy for Better Future. Anyway, the point is, this was the first time I had built anything with the Better Future Corporation in mind, and it was our hover VTOL. And it works quite well. It hovers, it can get back into the air, it can fly, it does everything it's set out to do. The problem is, since the new control scheme was added, it's also incredibly redundant and has a lot of stuff on it which makes very little sense now that air mode and ground mode are no longer a thing. So it's way too inefficient to really be useful in the campaign. So today, we're building a brand new VTOL. Now, most likely, I'm just going to be building a true plane, because I haven't built a plane in a while, and I want to build something a little bit smaller and very, very agile. I think it's about time we finally get a proper VTOL built. Now, the last time I built a flyer, it was this thing, which I'm hoping the controls still work for. Oh, no they don't. For some reason I can't pitch. Well, let's pretend I'm currently pitching. Wow, look at me flying. Yeah, I've clearly messed up the controls on this thing. There we go. Now, this thing's fine. It does a lot of damage, it's very, very easy to handle, it's fairly quick, it's a nice plane. But again, today, we make a brand new VTOL. So, let's get started. And most likely I will, of course, be using Better Future, although I could use Hawkeye. I very well could. Just making sure the controls work, expect this to be the least balanced thing in the galaxy. Okay, and then we can swap over to the propellers, and then we are indeed a plane. Okay, let's just land this. All works just fine. Now, the question is, do I want to use jets to get into the air and then propellers to move around, or propellers to get into the air and then jets to move around? Now, the thing is with jets, as much as they are the cooler option, I do completely concede this, they do have the problem of eventually they will run out of fuel once they're in the air, then you have to glide to allow them to refuel, and then you can use them again. In fact, we even built a jet plane not too long ago in the campaign, and well, that's how it worked. That's fine. But it's not the most intriguing gameplay. The gameplay can be a little bit annoying with that more than anything else. Whereas a regular propeller-based plane, it can go on forever, and thus you're never going to randomly run out of fuel when you least expect it because you're not paying attention. So I don't know which way around. But saying that, having the internal turbines getting us into the air would probably look a bit better. And then having the jets take us off. Not sure which. So I found potentially a rather major problem with using internal rotors for lift and then jets for moving forwards. The problem is, although these can be used for lift, like normal, if I try and pitch, the rotors will also use pitch. And if I try and lift and pitch at the same time, that's when things get really, really bad. So that's going to provide a bit of complexity when it comes to simply getting off the ground. The jets will never activate during lift. So there is certainly some overlap with these controls. So lift is here. We have a shift. So basically shift and lift are both currently using the propellers. That's both fine. But then pitch will also use the propellers if they are available. And of course they are available if they're in this orientation. That's a shame. I was going to go with jets then for regular movement, then these for flying upwards. It seems like jets are still going to be for simply getting off the ground. Just a further test of the controls. Into the air we go, and then propellers take over, and ta-da, we are actually a plane. A very, very unwieldy plane, but still a plane nonetheless. Yep, this is going to need a lot of work. So this is sort of the core. And now we're going to be building around this, and hopefully by the end, this will be a half-decent plane, which can just get off the ground incredibly easily. Can I land using these without hurting myself? Yes, I can. Lovely. So I've been building this thing from the inside out, which means right now I still don't fully know how this thing's going to look near the end, but let's just consider this the core of the craft. And if this works, that means I've been balancing things correctly, and everything is working as intended, and the end craft should indeed function. It's bizarre adding batteries and fuel tanks to one of these aircraft because it makes it so much heavier that we are going to need to be way lighter around the outside, which should also give me a chance to give this thing a bit more shape. So, will the lift work? Very, very slightly pitching forwards, but no major issue. Activating the propellers, and there we go. Let's not start the race, thank you. Okay, considering the weight of this thing, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's a lot faster than I expected, honestly. That is fine. Okay, so this is fully functional. I did not expect that, but that is absolutely lovely, because it means the end craft should be significantly better. What I'm hoping is I can move these internal propellers a bit more on the outside before the end, make them a bit more external. Start you. Okay, let's go back near the start so we can sit near the recharging station, and everything is going well. It's not much to look at, but I am really happy with how this functions, and just the fact it can get off the ground straight away will make this far, far easier to use. No more runways. Although I just realised I have no wheels, so it's going to hurt a little bit. Yep, ow. Just messing with the controls there, and yeah, that's going to take some serious getting used to. Getting some serious Batman vibes, but like a knockoff Batman. A Batman that you would see being sold in Poundland for 50p. That type of Batman. And yet, I am completely okay with that. Oh god, it handles like a brick. Well, a sort of floaty brick. Can I just not say something is something without then explaining it further? It handles like a brick, it looks sort of like Batman, okay? Okay. Still don't know how I meant to land this thing, though. With no wheels. Ooh. That looks painful. Okay, this is going to seem really silly, but right now, in its clearly unfinished form, I've got to say, this flies incredibly well. Now, of course, as you can probably see, the pitching upwards is just horrendous. But other than that, considering it's nowhere near done, this flies great. So I have no doubt whatsoever, once the front is done, once the weight is more evened out at the bottom, and thus these lovely rotors are no longer completely imbalanced, this is going to be a really good craft for just moving around. Now, it's not going to be super agile, it's not going to do very quick turns, although to be honest that was okay, but it is going to be able to carry a lot of weight, which means lots of missiles, lots of bombs, and lots of fun. Now, I would love to use weapons other than missiles, but this time around, I can't see any other weapon. Maybe mortars, maybe working with this, but planes tend not to use the other weapons quite as well because you can't stay in place, and the tracking of these weapons is a little bit subpar, to say the least. Maybe some of the lasers, but that's going to be very, very difficult to use. And still haven't added wheels. So let's just hurt ourselves a little bit. Nope, nope, nope. There we go. Really? No damage. 10 out of 10 landing. Ignore him shooting at us. So here's one other problem. How am I going to make this a true VTOL? How am I going to make this thing land vertically? Okay, that's not too bad. We can almost make it completely still. Now, if those thrusters were balanced, that would have eventually stopped still, especially if I re-add the gyro. Currently, this thing has no gyroscope. If we add a gyroscope, that means when we stop, we should be able to essentially land completely vertically with no issue. Also, these shields look so weird with this one lower down. Lots of decisions to be made. So we need the ability to move backwards. That's pretty much what I'm learning here. Okay, let's make that work. Up we go, forward we go, and now I want to stop. What do? I press backwards. And we have almost completely stopped midair, and we can almost land completely vertically. Okay. A little bit of balance. And that should work just fine. We should be able to stop midair straight away, fall to the ground, and then use the boosters to slow down that descent so we don't kill ourselves. And of course, if we have wheels as well, that's going to massively reduce the damage. Now, I would love to use the landing gear. The thing is, currently, this is actually buildable in the campaign, which I really like. So I might try to avoid any better future stuff for the time being. Okay, we're getting very close though now. Our balance is getting very close. The forward lift should be solved soon once I add the weight underneath, including the wheels. And by forward lift I meant to say pitch, but still, I mean technically forward lift as well. You get the idea. Okay, I mean it flies really well. I mean this is great to fly, it's just that pitch is horrendous. So excluding that one flight problem, the flying is great. Yep. Never trust Lathrux to build things in real life. It could have catastrophic effects. I am very, very tempted to use these landing pieces. It just makes life so much easier. Although wheels will do a very similar job, it's definitely a very easy way to land. The problem is then, this is definitely not suitable for the campaign. Though, to be fair, this wasn't going to be an episode for the main series anyway, but still. I do really like them. Even when just placed on the outside like this, just to test them, they even look good then. Just because once you're in the air, it doesn't really matter. And up they go. Although they do stand out quite a bit as well. I would like a wheel version from Hawkeye, that would be really nice. So tempted. We are such a bulky craft. On the upside, a very strong, bulky craft. And for once with shields and repairables, which is still weird for me, since I never build flyers with these. Still love how it flies, though. It's not exactly agile, but it's really nice to use. Again, the pitching issue will be fixed eventually, I promise. This would make a very good campaign craft. Wait, that one's rails. That means your missiles. Hello! My missiles beat your missiles. Let's go home and repair. No, we're not landing yet. Now that's better. So, I've added some more batteries, I've added some more weapons, and now we're finally sorting out the front. Lovely. Just going to ignore you for a second there, fellow, I'm afraid. And goodbye. When a wheel gets as high up as the plane you're using to fight the wheeled vehicle, then you know your missiles have hit something pretty darn good. Oh, that is brutal. Yep, Hawkeye missiles, they will always be the most overpowered weapon in this game. Not just because they are insanely powerful, but they're just so easy to use. It is a bit sad going back to them after trying to avoid them for so long, but this vehicle just, it's made for them. So once in a while, the easy-to-win weapon is the correct choice. Okay, let's just slow down. That's pretty awesome as well. I'm slowly getting the hang of this, and I am really liking this vehicle. Here's the thing. I know people might not like this design, because they've said so before, but I like the more, I don't know what to say, the more stout designs like this. Yeah, I do really like it. Just need to finish off the front. So the front needs to come out a fair bit more. Or does it, though? Since we're making it so stout anyway. Maybe to about here-ish? Then we could hide some more batteries inside. We'll probably need at least one more thruster at the very front once all that extra weight's been added. That should help with the pitching problem. It's not only sending the lift a bit back, in terms of the center of mass, but also putting loads more weight on the front. Essentially the same thing, but still. Choices. Well, I've been trying to make this thing look a little bit better, and I do like how this section here is shaping up. It makes it look like the entire thing is actually encased, but it's looking, honestly, way too heavy. It looks almost silly. The wings don't look large enough for this. The back, although I have stretched out a little bit, it's way too short. I think this is going to need some major work still, which is taking absolutely forever at this point. I really don't want to make this into two separate videos, but this is taking just so much longer than I expected, especially since it's something I've built before many, many times. No, you were just the correct... There we go. More batteries is always good, but yeah, that is way, way too chunky looking. Starting to look a little bit better. The problem is, this is looking very similar to my older builds, and I really don't like that. I really need to start experimenting with different design styles, because this looks very, very close to the last Hawkeye plane I made, which is a little bit annoying to say the least. But still, I am happy with it. It still flies fairly well, especially now we've got some more internal rotors. The back needs to be extended greatly, though. If we're doing this, this needs to come out more and be a bit more pronounced. Otherwise, it just looks like it's sort of tacked onto the main body. And we have loads of missiles. This thing will be able to kill quite a lot. Oh god, we need more jets now. Well, I mean, yeah, we just need more jets. Got it. Not too bad once the propellers are on. The turbines, the doodle bobbers. Let's pretend those hit. Okay, we also need to sort out the lift. This thing is way too heavy. I feel like I keep on fixing a problem and then causing a new one. Not the best. But on the upside... Oh, that is glorious. And stop. There we go. That is really cool. But yeah, we need more thrusters desperately. Little bit too much lift on the back now. Okay. Still looking a lot more heavy duty. Now, the thing is, this is actually balanced. If I were to do this, you can see it's no longer pitching up, or at least it's pitching up very, very slowly, which is kind of how I like it anyway. But the lift and the speed are what's causing problems. So, I need more speed to generate more lift. We need to go faster, is what I'm trying to say. Still, it works. And let's land it. There we are. Lovely. So, I've came to a conclusion. I think I'm going to finish off this build in the campaign itself. Even though this is not a campaign episode, this is a completely campaign-viable build. And I think it's quite a good end build. It's easy to fly, it's super fun, it's quite defensive, it's still not finished, but look at how many missiles it has! It lags out the game with sheer destructive glory, and really... what's more important than that? But yeah, really easy to fly. I do really like this slight upwards pitch. I will change it, even though I like it personally, because it does make it more fun to watch. Now, what do we need to do, though, to finish this thing? And this is what I will do in the next and last campaign episode. I think what I need to do is add some shielding and repair bubbles to the side here. Extend the back even further, because right now it still looks way too stunted. Remove some of the weapons. As much as I do love the overkill here, it is really serious overkill. We will never need that many weapons, and it's just adding weight and expense for no real reason other than more explosions. But I do love more explosions. I don't know, though. I don't know. Other than that, yeah, I'm happy. I am really happy with this. Definitely a work in progress, though. Expect to see this very soon being completed. But for now... I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's episode. So, if you have enjoyed, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff, helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. So, my little VTOL. I've had a lot of fun with this today. I really have. But before we go, this is the underside. Clearly it's not panelled up yet, since this is normally the last thing I work on, and all of these missiles are in one straight line, which honestly isn't the best. Staggering them a little bit, at least in terms of the length of the craft, tends to make them a little bit more effective as they hit with a slight delay between hits, which tends to go through shields and do a bit more damage forwards, rather than all hitting the exact same spot, detonating, destroying everything in their area of effect. But then, if something survives, well, there's the weakness. If you allow it to stagger a little bit, it tends to hit, and then when the shield goes down, the next one will hit through the shield, because obviously the shield's not there. Anyway, enough rambling. This has been a very lengthy build. But still, thank you again for watching, and goodbye.